Guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel or simply not yet subscribed, I'm Brittany, and definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the Care Bears. I was a Care Bear fanatic growing up. I had every single variation of Care Bears and Care Bear cousins, minus Swift Heart Rabbit. You can never find that one. But I had all of the little figures and all the stuffed animals, and I used to go around and tell my siblings that if they did not believe in Care Bears, then they did not care, as in basically my younger self way of calling them a bad person. I remember my sister telling me the one time she went to Florida that Good Luck Bear had actually got their plane stopped mid-flight and Good Luck Bear got on their plane, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, are you for real? I was a big Care Bear fan. I did recently get Freya a Care Bear, which I was going to include in the throwback video, but I forgot to be completely honest. So I'm going to add these clips in here, and then we're gonna dive into everything Care Bears. Do you like your Care Bear? So you'll probably hear the AC in the background, but I know that Freya was not going to wait to get this. This is not an original Care Bear, but I was at clearance and they didn't have the original ones. Care Bears was a huge part of my childhood, especially specifically. I had probably every one that was made at the time. But the cool thing about this bear in particular is that it's made from recycled materials. It's pretty cool. So the box is made from recycled materials and the bear itself is. How cute is it? So this is how it looks out of the package. It is an adorable tie-dye, and it has all these little swirls on the back. This little flower in her hair. Here, you want it? Do you want her? Do you like her? Is she pretty? So the Care Bears characters were created in 1981, and it wasn't until 1982 that they launched as a successful toy brand. The bears came in bright colors, and they were branded specifically on their belly. On their belly was a graphic design that would symbolize what they stood for. There was rainbow for Cheer Bear, a shamrock for Good Luck Bear, hearts for Love a Lot, and a shooting star for Wish Bear. But the first 6 Care Bears were actually created by the same illustrator as Strawberry Shortcake. Muriel Farion was actually working as a greeting card designer for American Greetings when the company asked her to create a ragdoll character, and thus Strawberry Shortcake was created. When Strawberry Shortcake took off, American Greetings were like, wow, this is great. Let's see what other characters we can come up with. And then the Care Bears were born. After these 6 designs, the original 6 designs were created, illustrator Elena Kucharik stepped in to create more characters. The Care Bears were created in order to help people express emotions, which many children and even some adults have a lot of trouble doing. So there were bears such as Tenderheart, Good Luck Bear, Birthday Bear, Cheer Bear, Bedtime Bear, Grumpy, and Wish Bear, Sunshine, and Love a Lot. Bedtime Bear was actually the first Care Bear I ever got. My mom had gifted it to me. I think I received Bedtime Bear from somebody else too. So my mom had got me Bedtime Bear, someone else got me Bedtime Bear, and the next Christmas I had gifted the second Bedtime Bear that I got to my mom. I was like, I I don't even know if I was in elementary school yet. So I didn't exactly have money to be buying presents, but I loved the idea of having something special with my mom at such a young age. And I slept with Bedtime Bear every night. Back then, the bears used to come with a VHS tape that had 2 to 3 episodes that included whichever bear or cousin it had gotten. By 1983, the Care Bears were everywhere. And this had led to a full collection of plush toys, stickers, trading cards, and even on-screen spin-offs. The Care Bears cartoon started in 1985. And the same year, the Care Bears got their first big screen movie. This would feature the bears along with a villain by the name of Professor Coldheart. But that wasn't the only villain in the Care Bears world. No, there was also No Heart. In an episode called The Birthday Bears Blues, No Heart had become infuriated after the Care Bears had laughed at him after he failed to kidnap a Care Bear and a Care Bear cousin. Now, Gentle Heart Lamb was actually one of the Care Bears that No Heart had attempted to kidnap. So then No Heart went ahead and concocted this plan to trap the Care Bears in a maze. And they would be separated, and then he could take them one by one, which kind of reminds me of like Smurfs with Gargamel. Once they were trapped in the maze, he would turn into a tiger, and then he would hunt them down. Eventually, he came across Gentle Heart Lamb, and he would say that he was going to be having lamb chops, which basically insinuates that he's going to kill them and eat them in order to get his revenge, which is rather dark for a kid's show. Yeah, that was the show because it was episode.
I'll rid the world of all love, all caring, all feeling. That day will come after I have destroyed each member of the Care Bear family. I am evil. I am No Heart.
It wasn't uncommon for kid shows back then to be super dark, and the villain was like a pure villain that nobody really thought much of because we were kids and we're like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to go. I mean, look at old fairy tales. They're dark. So kind of the same idea. Like there's these little tidbits that people kind of overlook because it's supposed to be a villain. They're supposed to be evil. But is it too much for a kid? As I was doing my research with the Care Bears, which I find super interesting, I didn't know that they were originally from American Greetings, despite how obsessed I was with them. But I came across this story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It says, when I was a 90s kid, and like many others, I adored Saturday morning cartoons. I loved Saturday morning cartoons. You watched the Winx Club, you had Bratz, you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chaotic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways, among my favorites were the Care Bears. They were cute, cheerful, and always taught valuable lessons about kindness and friendship. So when I found an old VHS tape labeled Care Bears Lost Episode at a garage sale, I couldn't resist buying it. It seemed like a hidden gem from my childhood. The man who sold it to me seemed hesitant, almost as if he didn't want to part with it. Are you sure you want this? He asked. I laughed and nodded, thinking he was just trying to upsell me. He handed it over reluctantly, muttering something under his breath that I couldn't quite catch. Back home, I dusted off my old VCR and popped in the tape. The familiar Care Bears logo appeared, and I felt a wave of nostalgia wash over me. But something was off. The colors seemed duller, and the usual upbeat theme song was replaced with a slow, haunting melody. The episode started with the Care Bears in their usual setting of Camelot, but the skies were overcast and everything seemed darker than I remembered. The bears looked worried, huddled together, whispering about something they called the Shadow Bear. Braveheart Lion stepped forward and explained that the children had been disappearing from the real world, taken by this malevolent creature. They decided to venture into the Shadow Realm to rescue them. As the bears entered this new world, the animation quality deteriorated. The colors were muted and the characters moved awkwardly, almost as if the animators had given up halfway through. The Shadow Realm was a twisted version of Carolot, filled with dark, looming trees and eerie whispers. Then the screen flickered and a jarring static interrupted the scene. When the picture returned, the bears were no longer in their animated form. They were in a crudely filmed live-action setting portrayed by poorly made puppets. The puppets' glassy eyes stared blankly, their movements stiff and unnatural. The shadow bear finally appeared, a grotesque, shadowy figure with red, glowing eyes. It spoke in a distorted voice, saying, "Children who watch this episode will join me in the Shadow Realm forever." My heart raced and I reached to eject the tape, but the VCR would not respond. The buttons were jammed and the static returned, growing louder and more intense. When the picture came back again, the screen showed missing child posters, hundreds of them, of faces of real children, their eyes wide with fear. The camera panned across them slowly, and I felt a chill run down my spine. These weren't just fictional characters. These were real kids that had vanished. Terrified, I finally managed to pull the plug on the VCR. The tape stopped, but the eerie silence that followed was almost worse. I threw the tape into a box and shoved it into the darkest corner of the attic, hoping to forget the disturbing images. For weeks after, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and I heard whispers in the dead of night. Then one evening, I received an anonymous package. Inside was a single Care Bears plush toy. Its eyes were replaced with tiny red LEDs and glowed ominously. Attached was a note. "You watched the episode. Now they watch you." I threw the toy away and moved out of my house, hoping to escape whatever curse I had unleashed. But the nightmares continued, filled with visions of the shadow bear and the missing children calling out for help. I never found out the true origins of that tape, but I learned one thing is for sure. Some childhood memories are best left untouched. If you ever come across a lost episode of your favorite childhood show, do yourself a favor. Don't watch it. You never know what might be watching you in return. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you want me to dive into any other, the 90s or the 80s or the 2000s. I was not born in the 80s. So 90s or 2000s, definitely my jam. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you guys watched the Care Bears, what your favorite bear was. Mine was either Bedtime Bear or Wish Bear. I loved Wish Bear. And then my favorite cousin was Swift Heart Rabbit. But make sure you to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I love you guys. Bye.